Most launches begin with a flight, a drive and a hotel. This one was no different, and we took an evening flight to PE, a drive to the hotel and naturally went straight to the bar. Dinner is preceded by presentations from BMW top brass and then bed in anticipation of an early start the next day. By 7 AM we're on the road. As this was the launch of the GS Adventure, however, don't think that tooling around on tar was the order of the day. Nor was this going to be a quick blast off-road to give us a general idea of what the bike can do. BMW don't do things by halves, and for this launch they'd planned a full day of riding. First along the Bavianes Clough Pass, and then on to Uniondale and the Prince Alfred Pass. We were in for a 12-hour riding day, but how else do you prove that this really is the bike that can do anything and go anywhere? BMW have not used the name Adventure for nothing, and they were out to prove that the bike deserves the title. Okay, it's about 11:30. We've been on the road for, I use that in the loosest possible sense. About 4.5 hours we've been riding, and I don't think we're even halfway through. It has been the most beautiful ride. This Bavianes Clough Pass is just spectacular. Initial impressions of the bike. When you're standing next to it, it's enormous. It's a beast of a thing. As soon as you get on and you start riding, the weight and the bulk just falls away. You're not aware that you're on such a big thing. The other impression is the electronics. Now, purists might decry the use of all these electronics, but I tell you what, when you turn everything off, you understand exactly how they've been working to keep you upright and pointing in a straight line when they've all been active. The suspension, I've been riding it in Enduro Pro, which is the softest suspension setting. The traction controls are adjusted and the ABS is off on the back wheel. It's just... The talent of the bike is always going to be a lot more than my talent personally. There's some very good riders here and I can see what they're doing with it, and I'm not going that far myself. But it's just, yet again, I'm astounded by how much this bike will help you get through anything and get you to the other side in one piece. So, well, we've got to kind of saddle up and get moving again. I've got no idea what's ahead of us. But if it's more of the same, that'll be good. If it gets harder, I'm sure the bike will help me. But there's only one way to find out. Get on the bike and ride. Bavianes Clough is not particularly technical, but it is very long, very spectacular and very beautiful. Not that we get much chance to look at the scenery, which is a shame, but we are here to ride after all. The weather is perfect and temperatures high, so the water crossings provide welcome cooling and a chance for some of the party to behave like the children we all are at heart. The pace is easy. Even though there's still a long day ahead of us, no one is hurrying, and there's time to really get to know the bike and assess its performance and, more importantly, its comfort. The party stops often to allow everyone to catch up, and we use these moments to compare notes and eat. One thing you'll never do on a launch is go hungry, no matter how hard you ride. And some of the places we stop at have a charm all of their own. We've still got at least 5 hours in the saddle, but by now we're all completely in the groove and ready for more. We're over the worst of the pass, and from here the terrain opens out into long, long stretches of gravel roads, allowing for fast, easy riding. Again, the bike impresses with its ability, and the suspension makes the ride so smooth and comfortable. We should be fatigued by now, but we all feel as fresh as when we started, and that is down to the bike itself. hit the tar for 50 kilometres or so to get to Uniondale, where we top up the tanks, ready for the steep and tricky Prince Alfred Pass. The road is good, but tight and twisty, requiring concentration and trust in the grip from the Metzler Karoo 3 tyres that BMW have fitted for this launch. It's another utterly beautiful pass, dropping and rising steeply through stunning gorges. Back out of the valley, we have moments of great contentment and satisfaction as we ride along the roof of the world, the sunset in our eyes and the landscape stretching away to the sea, our wheels running easily along good dirt roads and the final tar section to our overnight stop. It's been an amazing day, made memorable not only by the roads we've travelled but by the bike we've been riding. It's a shame it had to end, but that first drink didn't half taste good. Day 2, and looking a little dazed and confused, we have time for a leisurely breakfast before setting off for part 2 of the launch. It's a relaxed day ahead, and all we have to do is ride back to PE on tar, doing a bit of sightseeing along the way. First we drop down to Nature's Valley and then up and over Groot-Rivier and Blokran's passes. The roads and weather are perfect, and once again we're reminded of the almost limitless abilities of the GS Adventure. Having ridden the old GS Adventure for most of last year, I'm in the perfect position to compare old with new, and the conclusion I have come to is this: there is no comparison. To put it simply, the new does everything better than the old. Engine, gearbox, steering, handling on dirt and tar, comfort and that elusive quality called fun are streets ahead of the previous model. Finally we drop down into Storms River Bay for the inevitable spot of lunch and a bit of summing up. It's all very well me saying I like the bike, but what about the other journalists on the launch? What's their opinion?
I must tell you, BMW have found something very special here. I quite like the GS Adventure, the previous model. This bike is better in every respect. Power, although it weighs 3 kilograms less, if you ride the bike, it feels about 15 kilograms lighter. I think you're going to see many of these motorcycles on the South African roads very soon.
I'm very impressed with the 1200 GS Adventure. I came here not expecting what I've already seen and felt. And I'm very happy with how it goes. I'm happy with how it goes on the technical stuff. It's actually impressed me really a lot there, and the roads goes just as well there too.
It's not the first adventure we've had in the country, but it's certainly the best one. First time ever that BMW have hit every single button on the head. As far as I'm concerned, the improvements on this bike are absolutely phenomenal. There are just no issues with it. It handles beautifully. Everything works so well on the bike now. And heads up to good for BMW. They've done a magnificent job of this motorcycle.
In comparison with the previous iteration of the GS, I think this bike is a definite improvement. It feels a lot lighter than it actually is. It's nimble, it handles extremely well. I think the only question is, what does BMW do to improve after this one?
So there you have it. It seems pretty unanimous that BMW have done it again. They've updated what seemed to be the unupdatable, and they've produced a bit of a winner. It's not cheap, 200,000 thereabouts with all the bells and whistles on, but it seems that BMW have remained the king of the heap once again.